Most travelers over 60 don't realize the airport system quietly changes the rules for them, and sometimes not in their favor. From hidden airline policies to airport assistance services, most passengers never request. There are a few things that can completely change how smooth, or stressful, your trip becomes. And the surprising part? Flight attendants see these mistakes every single day. In this video, I'm going to show you the insider flying secrets passengers over 60 should know before stepping into an airport. Because once you know them, traveling becomes dramatically easier. After years of working around airports and watching thousands of passengers board flights, I've noticed something interesting. Travelers over 60 are often the most prepared passengers on the plane, but they're also the ones airlines quietly assume will ask for less help. I remember one couple in their late 60s flying internationally for the first time in years. They struggled through a long airport walk, missed a boarding announcement, and almost lost their connection. Not because they did anything wrong, but because nobody told them about a few simple airport services that would have changed everything. So today, I'm going to walk you through the travel hacks airline staff wishes more senior passengers knew. In this video, I'm going to share 10 powerful travel hacks specifically for passengers over 60. Some of these tips come directly from airline crew and airport staff, and a few involve policies airlines rarely explain unless you ask. And trust me, tip number 8 alone can completely change how easy your airport experience becomes. Many travel problems for senior passengers actually begin before they even reach the airport, but a few simple preparation tricks can eliminate most of that stress. Tip 1. Request airport assistance, even if you don't think you need it. One of the biggest hidden challenges for passengers over 60 isn't the flight itself, it's the distance inside the airport. Many modern airports are enormous. It's not unusual for travelers to walk half a mile or more just to reach their gate, especially in large international terminals. Add security lines, escalators, crowded hallways, and tight connections, and suddenly what seemed like a simple trip becomes physically exhausting. The problem is that most passengers assume airport assistance is only meant for people with serious mobility disabilities. So they push through the long walk, even when they're tired, carrying bags or rushing to catch a flight. But here's the insider travel hack. Airports offer free mobility assistance services, and you don't have to be in a wheelchair full-time to use them. Airlines and airports provide trained staff who can guide you through the terminal, help with security navigation, and transport you by wheelchair or electric cart directly to your gate. In many cases, they can even help you make tight connections much faster than walking. So why don't airlines talk about this more often? Because most passengers simply don't ask for it. And many travelers feel hesitant to request assistance because they don't think they qualify. In reality, these services exist specifically to make travel easier and safer for passengers who may need a little extra support. The easiest way to arrange this is when booking your flight online. Most airlines include an option for mobility or airport assistance during the reservation process. If you've already booked your ticket, you can also call the airline or request assistance at least 48 hours before your flight. I once watched a traveler in his late 60s walk nearly 25 minutes across a busy terminal, trying to reach a distant gate. He looked exhausted by the time he arrived. The surprising part? If he had requested assistance, airport staff could have taken him straight there in minutes. Sometimes the easiest travel experience comes down to knowing which services already exist and simply asking for them. Tip 2. Choose flights earlier in the day. Here's something many travelers over 60 don't realize until it happens to them. Flight delays tend to get worse as the day goes on. Most passengers assume delays are random, but airports actually operate like a chain reaction. When the first few flights of the morning leave late because of weather, crew scheduling, or aircraft issues, those delays begin to cascade through the entire system. By the afternoon and evening, the airport schedule can already be running behind. That means a plane scheduled to depart at 6 p.m. might actually be using an aircraft that arrived late from 3 different cities earlier that day. The result? Longer delays, missed connections, and occasional cancellations. Here's the insider travel hack airline crews quietly follow themselves. Morning flights are usually the most reliable flights of the day. Early departures typically leave before weather disruptions build up, before air traffic congestion peaks, and before aircraft schedules start falling behind. In many cases, the plane you board in the morning has been sitting at the airport overnight, which reduces the chances of it arriving late from somewhere else. So why don't airlines emphasize this more often? Because airlines sell seats throughout the entire day. If every passenger tried to book only early flights, the schedule simply wouldn't work. From a business perspective, airlines want travelers spread evenly across all available departure times. But experienced travelers, and many flight crews themselves, know that if they want the smoothest travel experience, they often choose the earliest flight they can comfortably take. A simple rule of thumb is this: try to schedule flights before noon whenever possible. Morning flights tend to have fewer delays, more on-time departures, and smoother connections if you're changing planes. For many senior travelers, starting earlier may require waking up a little sooner, but it can dramatically reduce the chances of spending hours waiting in an airport later in the day. Tip 3. Carry medication in your personal item. Here's a situation airline staff see more often than most travelers realize. A passenger arrives at their destination, but their checked luggage doesn't. Even though airlines move millions of bags every day, luggage delays still happen. Sometimes a suitcase is placed on the wrong aircraft. Other times, a tight connection means the bag simply doesn't make it onto the next flight. And occasionally, luggage arrives hours, or even a full day, later than the passenger. For many travelers, this is inconvenient. But for passengers over 60, it can quickly become a serious problem if essential medications are inside that delayed bag. That's why experienced travelers follow a simple but critical rule: never pack medication in checked luggage. Instead, always keep all medications, prescriptions, and essential health items inside your personal carry-on bag, the small bag that stays with you under the seat during the flight. This is the hidden travel habit many frequent flyers use because it removes a major risk from the journey. If your suitcase is delayed, rerouted, or temporarily lost, you'll still have access to the medications you rely on. And here's why this matters more than many people realize. Replacing medication while traveling can be surprisingly complicated. In another city or country, pharmacies may require a new prescription from a local doctor. Insurance coverage might not apply, and in some cases, the medication may not even be available under the same brand name. What could have been a simple baggage delay can quickly turn into days of stress trying to replace something essential. So before every trip, take a moment to double-check your packing routine. Place medications, prescriptions, and any medical devices, like inhalers, glucose monitors, or daily supplements, in a small pouch inside your personal item bag. That way, no matter what happens to your checked luggage, the most important things you need will always stay with you. Most travelers assume the airport is the hardest part of flying, but the truth is, the most confusing part often happens after you enter the terminal. Modern airports are designed for efficiency, not necessarily for comfort, which means passengers who know a few insider tricks can move through them much more easily than everyone else. Tip 4. Ask for priority boarding assistance. One of the most exhausting parts of flying for many passengers over 60 isn't the flight itself, it's the boarding process. If you've flown recently, you've probably noticed how chaotic boarding can feel. Dozens of passengers gather around the gate area, people line up early to secure overhead bin space, and suddenly you're standing in a crowded line for 15 or even 20 minutes before you ever step onto the plane. For younger travelers, that may just be a minor inconvenience. But for many older passengers, standing in a long, slow-moving boarding line can be physically tiring, especially after already walking through the airport and passing through security. Here's the little-known travel hack many passengers don't realize. You can often request priority boarding assistance, even if it's not automatically assigned on your ticket. Many airlines allow passengers who may need a little extra time, including older travelers, to board before the main boarding groups begin. This early boarding window is sometimes referred to as pre-boarding, and it's designed to help passengers settle in without the pressure of a crowded aisle behind them. So why don't airlines advertise this more clearly? The answer is simple. Boarding policies vary from airline to airline. Some carriers automatically invite passengers needing assistance to board first, while others rely on travelers to request help if they need it. Because of these differences, many passengers simply assume they must wait for their assigned boarding group, even when assistance could have been available. The easiest solution is surprisingly simple. Just ask the gate agent. When you arrive at your gate, Approach the desk and politely mention that you'd appreciate boarding a little earlier for comfort or extra time. Gate agents handle these requests every day, and in many cases they're happy to accommodate them. A few extra minutes of early boarding can mean less standing, less crowding, and a much calmer start to your flight. Tip 5. Use airport courtesy carts. If you've ever tried navigating a modern international airport, you know the drill. Long hallways, multiple terminals, moving sidewalks that don't always go where you need them, and gates that feel miles apart. For passengers over 60, these long walks can be exhausting, even stressful, before you've even boarded your flight. Here's the insider travel hack most people don't know. Many airports operate free electric courtesy carts. These carts are designed to transport travelers quickly between terminals, gates, and other key areas of the airport. They're not just for passengers with severe mobility issues. Seniors and anyone who prefers a little extra help are encouraged to use them. So why does this simple service often go unnoticed? The answer is that airports rarely announce it publicly. You won't see flashy signs or hear repeated PA announcements, and travelers who don't ask the staff may walk past these carts without realizing they exist. Most people assume they're only for passengers with wheelchairs or medical conditions, but that's not always the case. To take advantage of this service, simply ask at an information desk or approach the nearest airline or airport staff member. In many airports, courtesy carts operate on a first-come, first-served basis, so a polite request is all it takes. Some airports also allow you to request a cart directly from airline staff at your gate. Using an airport courtesy cart can save you significant energy, reduce stress, and even help you make tight connections without rushing. It's one of those little-known hacks that can transform a long, tiring airport trek into a calm and manageable experience. Next time you're at a sprawling airport, remember, you don't have to walk every mile. Ask about the courtesy cart service, hop on, and let someone else handle the distance for you. Your legs and your mood will thank you. Tip 6. Avoid peak security times. If there's one part of flying that consistently frustrates passengers over 60, it's going through airport security. Long lines, slow-moving queues, and the stress of rushing to your gate can make even a routine flight feel overwhelming. For seniors carrying medications, electronics, or personal items, standing in a crowded line can become both physically exhausting and mentally stressful. Here's a simple insider hack. Timing is everything when it comes to security. The busiest times at most airports are typically late morning and early evening, when multiple flights are scheduled to depart around the same time. Lines can stretch for 30 to 60 minutes, and checkpoints may feel chaotic, making it easy to forget a belt, shoes, or even your boarding pass. On the other hand, travelers who schedule their flights strategically often experience much faster and smoother security checks. The best windows are usually early morning, when the first flights of the day leave and the airport is still relatively calm; mid-afternoon, after the morning rush has subsided, but before the evening flights begin. By aiming for these times, passengers can often bypass the largest crowds, move through security faster, and arrive at the gate with less stress. It's a small adjustment that can make a huge difference, especially for older travelers who may tire more easily. Why don't airlines emphasize this more? Simply put, airlines want passengers to book flights at all times of day. If everyone chose the early or mid-afternoon flights, the schedule would become unbalanced, and lines might shift elsewhere. So here's the actionable advice. Plan your travel around quieter times whenever possible. Check your airport's typical security trends online, leave extra time if you must fly during busier periods, and use this timing hack to breeze through security with less stress. A little planning here can turn a frustrating checkpoint into a calm start to your journey. Here's something most travelers don't realize. The airplane cabin itself can affect your body more as you age. As we get older, the body reacts differently to cabin pressure, dehydration, and long sitting periods. But there are simple ways to make flying dramatically more comfortable. Tip 7. Hydrate more than you think. One of the most underestimated challenges of flying, especially for passengers over 60, is staying properly hydrated. The air inside an airplane cabin is extremely dry, often with humidity levels as low as 10 to 20%. That's drier than the Sahara Desert. Even a relatively short flight can leave you feeling dehydrated, fatigued, and uncomfortable, with dry skin, itchy eyes, and headaches. Many passengers don't realize that dehydration can also exacerbate issues like dizziness, joint stiffness, or circulation problems, all of which are more common as we age. Coffee, tea, or alcohol may seem like comforting choices on a flight, but these actually dehydrate your body further, intensifying fatigue and discomfort. Here's the simple insider hack. Drink water regularly throughout the flight. Don't wait until you feel thirsty. That's already a sign your body is partially dehydrated. Aim for small, frequent sips rather than large amounts at once, and keep a refillable water bottle handy if the airline allows it. Here's an insider tip that many travelers overlook. Flight attendants stay hydrated constantly for a reason. They spend hours in the same dry cabin, moving between passengers and standing in low humidity air. They know that consistent hydration is the key to maintaining energy, focus, and comfort, and passengers can benefit from the same strategy. If you're on a long-haul flight, consider supplementing water with electrolyte drinks or snacks like fruit to maintain your energy levels. Even minor adjustments can make a dramatic difference in how you feel once you land. So before you board, fill your water bottle, plan to sip throughout the flight, and skip the dehydrating drinks. It's a small change that can dramatically improve your in-flight comfort, reduce fatigue, and make your entire travel experience feel smoother. Remember, staying hydrated is one of the simplest ways to fly comfortably and arrive feeling refreshed. Tip 8. Request seatbelt extenders or extra pillows early. Flying can be physically uncomfortable, especially for passengers over 60. Tight seatbelts, limited legroom, and a lack of lumbar support can make even a short flight feel long and exhausting. Yet many travelers hesitate to ask for small comfort items, thinking it's inconvenient, embarrassing, or that the crew might say no. Here's the insider hack most passengers don't know. Flight attendants expect these requests and are trained to accommodate them quickly. Seatbelt extenders, extra pillows, and even blankets are standard items carried on virtually every flight. The key is when you ask. Most travelers wait until the middle of the flight, often after struggling for hours to get comfortable. By then, the crew is busy serving meals, assisting other passengers, or managing in-flight duties. This delay can make it harder to get what you need promptly. Here's the curiosity hook. Most passengers wait until mid-flight, but there's a better time to ask. That time is immediately after boarding, before takeoff. Once you're seated, ask a flight attendant politely for a seatbelt extender if needed, or request extra pillows and blankets. Crew members will usually bring them over within minutes, allowing you to settle in comfortably for the entire flight. The benefits are immediate. A proper seatbelt fit reduces pressure and discomfort. Extra pillows provide support for your back or neck, and blankets can help regulate temperature in cabins that are often too cold for many passengers. Small adjustments like these can dramatically improve comfort, reduce fatigue, and make your flight a much more pleasant experience. So don't wait. Ask early, settle in, and enjoy a stress-free flight. Remember, these are standard services designed to make your journey smoother, and the crew is happy to help you take advantage of them. Tip 9. Move around every 1 to 2 hours. One of the hidden challenges of air travel, especially for passengers over 60, is the effect of long periods of sitting. Even on a relatively short flight, remaining seated for hours can lead to stiff muscles, sore joints, and reduced circulation. Over longer flights, this can increase the risk of swelling in the legs and, in rare cases, more serious conditions like deep vein thrombosis, DVT. Here's the travel hack that many experienced flyers swear by. Stand up or walk around the cabin every 1 to 2 hours. You don't need to take a long stroll. Even a few minutes of gentle movement near your seat or walking to the restroom can make a significant difference. Why is this so important? Movement helps stimulate blood flow, preventing stiffness in the legs, back, and hips. It also reduces fatigue, improves overall comfort, and makes it easier to adjust to time zone changes when you land. Even small stretches, raising your arms above your head, flexing your ankles, or rotating your shoulders, can help maintain mobility during a flight. Airline crews encourage passengers to move when possible. Flight attendants often make rounds with beverage carts or perform light stretches themselves, which shows that even professionals spending hours in the cabin know how critical mobility is for comfort and health. Many travelers assume that sitting quietly is the safest or most polite option, but airlines actually prefer passengers to get up when it's safe, as long as the seatbelt sign isn't illuminated. By incorporating these short movement breaks, you protect your circulation, reduce stiffness, and arrive at your destination feeling less sore and more energized. So, on your next flight, set a timer, get up, walk a few steps, and do light stretches. These simple actions may seem small, but they have a big impact on your in-flight comfort and overall well-being. Tip 10. Tell crew if you feel unwell immediately. Flying can sometimes take a toll on the body, especially for passengers over 60. Changes in cabin pressure, dehydration, or pre-existing medical conditions can make you feel dizzy, nauseous, or generally unwell. The problem is that many travelers wait too long to tell anyone, hoping the discomfort will pass. By the time they ask for help, the situation may have worsened, making it more stressful for both the passenger and the crew. Here's the insider hack. Flight attendants are trained to handle medical situations and assist passengers immediately. They are familiar with common in-flight issues, from minor discomforts to more serious emergencies. Crew members know exactly how to respond, whether it's helping you adjust your seat, providing oxygen, assisting with medications, or coordinating medical help on the ground if necessary. Why do passengers often hesitate? Some feel embarrassed, think it's not serious enough, or worry about causing a fuss. Others underestimate how quickly a small issue can escalate at 30,000 feet. In reality, the sooner the crew knows, the better they can help, often preventing minor problems from turning into major complications. The actionable advice is simple. Don't wait to ask for help. If you feel unwell, whether it's dizziness, shortness of breath, chest discomfort, or any other concerning symptom, alert a flight attendant immediately. Use the call button if you're seated, or speak to the nearest crew member as soon as possible. Airline staff handle these situations every day, and they'd much rather assist a passenger early than deal with a worsening problem later. Being proactive not only protects your health, but also ensures the flight is safer and more comfortable for you and everyone around you. Remember, speaking up early is not a sign of weakness. It's the smartest travel hack for your health at 35,000 feet. Quick question for you. What's the hardest part of flying right now? Airport walking, security lines, or long flights? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. So before your next trip, remember these 3 simple principles. 1. Prepare before you arrive at the airport. Small steps early can prevent big problems later. 2. Use the services airports already offer. Assistance, carts, and early boarding exist for a reason. 3. Take care of your comfort during the flight. Hydration, movement, and asking for help make a huge difference. If you found these tips helpful, make sure to subscribe for more airline secrets and travel hacks that make flying easier. And if you know someone over 60 who travels, or plans to soon, share this video with them. It could make their next airport experience much smoother.